All right, we are live. This is Sound Booth Theater Live. These are the cold reads. This is part 3 of the cold reads of Earth Force 3. And I'm excited to get started today. All right, let's see, we're on Chapter 5, Diplomating. And for those of you who were not here when we did the first 2 streams, oh crap, I forgot to tell people on Discord. Let me get this damn link. Let's see here. Today. Alright. There we go. Copy that. There we go. Sorry about that. Alright, so anyway, anybody join up? Yes, we have some listeners. Scraw! Alright, Scraw is here. I'm sure more people are coming now that I've actually made the announcements happen in Discord. There we go. It's another person. So yeah, chapters 1 through 4 have already been done. This is going to be a long one, guys. We have 453 pages here. Small type, single space. Yeah, very dense. So I'm hoping that I'll get through 135 pages by the end of this week for the cold reads, and then I should be able to finish the rest of the book next week, maybe next week and some change. But so far we have, let's see, first chapter opened up with a bang, lots of killing. There was a broodmother that they killed. Then they decided, hey, let's recruit some new people for the ship. They got a new science officer, they got a new medical officer, and they rejected this Swedish cyborg guy. I guess Nathan thought he was a psycho, so they rejected him, and clearly he's going to be a bad guy in this book. And then yeah, they went to visit Alzigo at the bong the bong space station, and now they're at Hammerhead station, I believe, trying to pick up some new supplies. Lana and Nathan just leveled up to level 10. And it's time for a shopping chapter. All right, where are we at? Chapter 5. Here we go. Oops. Chapter 5. Diplomating. Nori expertly maneuvered her hollow-wrapped fingers, navigating between the thick traffic of various ships, mostly freighters and mining vessels. She guided Unity to a docking tower that rose hundreds of meters above the asteroid's surface, aiming for their designated landing spot. Several robotic arms extended, locking around the ship and anchoring her in place. A seal tightened around the entrance. All right. Nori pushed away her consoles and stood. Let's show the new guys around. They stopped at the armory first. Help yourself. The captain gestured at a row of large-caliber Earth handguns and alien pistols. Are we... Leonard swallowed. Expecting trouble? Trouble tends to find us, the large engineer said as he holstered his favorite 50 cal revolver. 50 cal revolver? 1 second. 50 caliber revolver. Huh. These are a thing. Smith & Wesson 500. Interesting. I want to see a 50 caliber revolver bullet. Let's see. I'll go ahead and screen share so you guys can see it too. Okay. All right. 50 caliber pistol cartridges. So this looks like a 50 AE, which would be what a Desert Eagle fires. Oh wow, there's like several different 50 caliber pistol rounds. I had no idea. All right, so this is a... Wow, the difference is crazy. Look at that shell casing. That's a lot of powder in this sucker. And this is a 45 caliber. This is your standard, like this is what's going to go into a semi-automatic, like a 1911 or something. And then, of course, here's the 9mm. Wow. Here's the Desert Eagle, and that's what 50 caliber Desert Eagle rounds look like. Not as tall of a casing, so not as much powder. Still a powerful round, but in a revolver, you're going to get a better, you're going to get more power. Wow. Okay, well, that was interesting. Thank you, Lazy. Love you too, the large engineer said as he holstered his favorite 50 cal revolver. Better prepared than dead. Better prepared than dead, Caddy added sagely, selecting an advanced E8 energy pistol she alone could operate. The biotinker nodded, grimaced, and lifted a basic F5 energy pistol. Judy had no such qualms. She expertly handled an alien pistol, checked the power cells, and then grabbed 2 spares. Caddy nodded in approval. Once they were all armed, they proceeded through the personnel doorway at the side of the giant hangar door. Once they were all armed, they proceeded through the personnel doorway at the side of the giant hangar door. They found themselves in an open chamber connected to several other landing ports. An elevator shaft blocked with a blue energy field stood at the center. Okay, so I thought this is the armory in the ship where they picked up all these weapons. I don't know why they're picking... You're only supposed to have 1 sidearm going into this space station, and it just said that Judy picked up 3. Stood at the center. Give me a sec, Bulko said. He stepped to the side of the landing port and held up an arm. A pole extended out of the floor, growing a rectangle frame at the top. The frame flickered and filled with a hollow screen displaying a model of Unity in lines of text. Scanning ship. Complete. No malfunction detected.
Ship's cargo manifest. Palladium, 16 tons. Sell price, 800 per ton. Mithril, 40 kilograms. Sell price, 500 per kilogram. Aluminum, 8.25 tons. Sell price, 400 per ton. Nickel iron, 2 tons. Sell price, 200 per ton.
All good, Bulko said. Just wanted to make sure the station's scanner didn't detect any problem that our diagnostic scanner might have missed. We're good to go. Shouldn't we, leave someone behind to hold the fort? Leonard asked.
Nathan smiled. No need. Unity won't let anyone but us fly her. And now that we've got internal scanners, Lana added, I configured the system to alert the rest of us immediately if someone unauthorized tries to get on board.
Let's head down then, Nori said. The blue screen flickered as the seasoned crew walked through it, but the two newcomers stopped before it.
Not to worry, Lana said. It's just a scanning field to make sure we don't bring large weapons or unauthorized materials into the station.
The blue screen flickered as Judy passed, but as soon as Leonard's hand touched the shimmering walls, it instantly turned red, and a blaring alarm howled. Instantly, several spots on the ceiling opened up, and turrets descended from them. Beams of red light zeroed in on the surprised man, while a stern voice spoke loudly into the chamber.
Do not move. The presence of dangerous illegal matter was detected. The room is now on lockdown. Stand down at once and await station security. Any attempt to force your way through or back to our ship will be met with instant death.
What's going on? Leonard shouted over the noise.
Did you bring any large weapons with you?
Nori shouted back.
No! You saw what I took! What then?
Nathan winced at the loud sound. He pinched his fingers as if holding an invisible dial, then turned his wrist. The alarm's volume lowered considerably, and the turrets sagged as if running out of power. That was easier than he expected. With the proximity to Unity amplifying his power, he had no trouble tapping into the system.
That's better, he murmured.
I don't like it, Nori, Caddy said, holding her pistol. Feels like a trap.
Leonard, are you sure you didn't bring anything illegal with you?
Nori said tensely. We don't have a lot of time.
No, I swear.
What about in your personal storage space?
Huh? You mean like a suitcase? It must be because of something related to his path.
Huh? You mean like a suitcase?
It must be because...
Case?
It must be because of something related to his... It must be because...
Where'd it go?
It must be because of something related to his path. It must be because of something related to his path. It must be...
Oh, man. It's so hard for me to do that voice anymore. Hey, more people. Thanks for coming, everybody. Please say hello in the comments. If you want to say hi, I will say hi back.
It must be something... It must be because of something related to his path.
There we go.
To his path. To his path.
Lana said. Let me... Lana said.
That's what I'm thinking. You read the rule manifest. Was there anything prohibiting specific paths or races from entering? No. I mean, Sedumorph have to declare their species on entry, and Gorath need to arrange for special accommodations because of their size, but nothing about restricted paths.
Maybe it's the way his tech works? Bulko suggested. They might consider his ability to liquefy people from the inside an illegal weapon.
What?
The biotinker's eyes bulged. I can only use that on those significantly lower levels than me. I was barely able to affect that level 2 warped. Lana snapped her fingers.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Ugh.
What?
Nori asked.
Give me a moment.
Lana stepped closer to a wall and a holo monitor flickered to life in front of her. She lightly touched the console as she stared at the running lines of text. The newly minted sifter sighed.
I was afraid of that. The malleability of his tech was flagged as a possible mutation, which caused the system to mark him as a warped. It takes a special license to bring those on board.
Wait, they're warped on the station? Leonard asked. Some aliens think it's fun to flaunt them around, Bulko said in a disgusted voice. Bunch of idiotic assholes. An airlock on the far side of the chamber opened, and through it charged several heavily armed guards accompanied by a couple of humanoid. An airlock on the far side of the chamber opened, and through it charged several heavily armed guards accompanied by a couple of humanoid combat drones. Lana's grid-like eyes took in their details, which she quickly summarized and forwarded to her friends through friends' views. Lana's grid-like eyes took in their details, which she quickly summarized and forwarded to her friends' views through their connection while adding the sharpshooters. Lana's grid-like eyes took in their details, which she quickly summarized and forwarded to her friends' views through their connection while adding the sharpshooter's unique combat analysis capability. Let's try one more time. Lana's grid-like eyes took in their details, which she quickly summarized and forwarded to her friends' views through their connection while adding the sharpshooter's unique combat analysis capability. Okay, so Lana can use... I guess Lana can use, Caddy's ability remotely? That's interesting.
8, level 5 through 7, guards. Threat assessment, minimal. 2 combat drones, rank E2.
Nope.
2 combat drones, rank E2. Threat assessment, none. Technomancer controllable. 6 mounted energy turrets, disabled.
Alright, what kind of... what's the species of this guard? In Thidlon, okay.
Hold it right there! Hold it right there!
The lead guard shouted, aiming his weapon at the group.
Our sensors detected an attempt to bring unsanctioned warp into the station.
The helmeted head scanned around the room, focusing on the biotinker.
Tried to camouflage and smuggle it on board, did you?
Nori stepped forward, her gold-trimmed white and gold armor already encompassing her body.
I'm Nori, the captain of the ship Unity. This is just a misunderstanding.
Hold it right there! You will immediately surrender the specimen and whatever control you had installed on it. Hey!
Leonard lifted a hand in protest.
I'm not,
He stumbled, bumbling forward.
It's coming right for us!
One of the guards shouted. All hell broke loose. Old South Park joke. Okay. Anybody here, South Park people? How old is my audience right now? Because it's funny to me that South Park references can be dated now. You know, it used to be like back in high school, back in middle school, we were always quoting South Park. Everyone was. It was the biggest thing ever. And I am curious because I think that South Park is just not really in the. Oh, South Park was banned in your house. What's up, Goddess? Good to see you. 90s, yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I don't think it's in the collective conscious of people anymore. I don't think it's like a pillar of our culture anymore. And I'm wondering if anybody else in the audience got that reference.
It's coming right for us.
The 8 guards opened fire. They mainly aimed at Leonard, but were obviously unconcerned about hitting the others. Half the shots impacted Nori as she threw herself into the line of fire, causing her armor's shield to flicker into view as it Half the shots impacted Nori as she threw herself into the line of fire, causing her armor's shield to flicker into view as it absorbed the impacts. The rest of the shots scattered among the others, bouncing ineffectively off the veteran crew's armor. But 2 hit the unprotected omnicist.
Bastards!
Bulko roared as the thick plates of his armor grew over his body. The 2 combat drones were about to shoot, but Nathan acted first. As effortlessly as before, he overtook their cybernetic minds, but this time, instead of trying to mentally control them, he found he could simply imprint his intentions onto them, then back off. The 2 drones swerved, their weapons now trained at the guards threateningly.
Stand down!
Caddy tried shouting over the cacophony. The guards kept on shooting. Caddy, Bulko, Cirque, and Nori charged forward, their advanced armor deflecting the shots, while Lana and Nathan stayed at the back to cover the new crew members. With his advanced puncher leading the way, Bulko's fist launched one of the guards into the air. Nori dove to the ground, using her arms as anchors while her legs swept in a wide arc, dropping several guards to the floor in one go. Caddy grabbed the outstretched arm of the lead guard, twisted it around, and brought her pistol to his temple.
I said, stand the hell down! You know, unless you want me to open a hole the size of an airlock in your skull.
The guards quickly surrendered after that. Their leader's eyes were wild as his helmet melted from around his head, revealing the familiar features of an Enthydlon.
What have you done to the security system? He demanded. And our drones.
Nori ignored him, looking behind her at the injured Judy. Her wounds weren't healing. The biotinker was already leaning over her.
Is she going to be all right?
Leonard shook his head in dismay. She was hit twice, not in any vital areas, but something isn't right. She's completely unresponsive. I need to get her back into the med bay immediately.
Do it. Bulko, give him a hand.
The large engineer nodded, picked up the injured woman as if she were... The large engineer nodded, picked up the injured woman as if she weighed nothing, and the two disappeared back through the airlock. Nori turned back to face the guards.
You nearly killed one of my crew members.
You're lucky we only nearly killed one of your crew, the alien countered. Our guns are specifically calibrated to disable the warp. Our guns are specifically calibrated to disable the warped and our system flagged one of you as one.
Actually, Lana interjected, he was only flagged as possibly trying to smuggle a warped through the scanning field.
If you are right, there shouldn't be any lingering damage. However, you now face more serious charges. You attacked the station security forces. The administrator will have your heads for this.
Nori shook her head.
We were only defending ourselves and haven't used any lethal weapons. I'm sure Administrator Hazar would be interested to learn how his security treats his guests.
The alien's already protruding eyes bulged.
You know the administrator?
Through his brother, Alzigo,
Lana volunteered. The guard hesitated, then his face fell.
There was some sort of mistake. Our system...
Sounds more like a human error to me, Bulko grunted. Or, alien error.
What did you do to the turrets? The guard looked up. And my drones?
Nothing at all, one of the drones replied with a familiar, soft voice. Just trying to prevent unnecessary injuries. I have to go, sorry guys, I have to go look for what this new voice is, if it's another Enthydlon, if it's another different species. Don't know. It's going to take a while for me to find out, so... Freka. I think it is going to be an Enthydlon. Alright, I'm going to... So, I learned this new vocal technique. Oh, bye, goddess. I don't know, I saw somebody using it, or I listened to somebody using it, and I tried to figure it out. I didn't do any extra research on it. Let me see if I can actually do it. Unity's crew. 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 There we go. Let's try this. Let's try this. Unity's crew. Unity's crew! An angry voice blared through the room's comms. You were detected attacking the station security. Gunships are surrounding your vessel. Surrender immediately. The Enthydlon leader winced.
Lieutenant Freka, there seems to be a misunderstanding. None of our men have been hurt.
He hesitated for a moment.
One of their crew was injured by us and was taken into the ship for treatment. I believe we can stand down.
A moment of silence.
Understood. Head back to your ship and await further inquiry. You are not registered as one of the local factions. Therefore...
Actually, Nori interrupted, our faction has an embassy here on the station. Our diplomat's name is Diamond.
Another pause followed, punctuated by the familiar sounds of chiming controls.
The crew may proceed into the station proper,
the lieutenant spoke up. The lieutenant... The lieutenant spoke up.
However, the suspicious element may not come through, pending further inquiry with your local representative. If you require medical assistance, one will be dispatched to your ship.
Thank you, Lieutenant,
Nori said, bringing a finger to her temple.
Leonard, how's Judy?
She's stable, the man's voice replied. Whatever they shot her with was nasty, but I was able to help the tech in her body to nullify the malignant energy. Honestly, I don't know how you managed to last as long as you did without a medical path. Or were you just waiting for the exotic stuff until I arrived? Anyway, Judy will heal up quicker in the medbed. I'll stay here and monitor her progress.
Understood.
Nori narrowed her eyes as she stared at the guard's leader.
It's as I've said,
the man protested.
These weapons are designed to disrupt the healing properties of warped tech, which is normally only fatal to them. These are not multi-purpose firearms.
I guess that explains why they were so ineffective against our armor.
Caddy nodded. Caddy noted. Caddy noted. Caddy.
So, what happens now?
Nori asked. The alien rubbed the back of his head and sighed.
I'll have to file a report, and our security chief would likely want to talk with your local representative. We'll monitor your ship to make sure your crewmate stays put for now. The rest of you are free to continue.
Bulko re-emerged from the docking tube. Everything's good back here? Everything's good back here?
Yes,
Nori answered.
Come on, let's go.
The large man's nostrils flared as he looked over the station's personnel, but he didn't comment.
Are you some sort of elite strike team?
The Enthidlon blurted.
Who, us?
Caddy smirked.
We're just your average freighter crew trying to help out our We're just your average freighter crew trying to help out our fledgling faction.
What sort of faction can afford armor like that for a simple freighter crew?
Why, the Earth Force, of course.
The elevator's door peeled back. Revealing the pristine and orderly streets of the Metrodome. Wide streets stretched from side to side. With multiple alien races walking around, browsing the various shop windows and holographic signs. A shimmering bubble of force covered the entire section, spreading above and beyond the nearby buildings. Bulko whistled. Damn, that's one hell of a sight. Where do we go from here?
The Earth Force Embassy is in a large building complex over there.
The expert pointed to their right.
Diamond sent us directions a while back. We're not expecting more trouble, right?
Caddy asked, scanning the aliens walking around. Cirque shook his head. The Metrodome is Hammerhead's most prestigious section. The Metrodome is Hammerhead's most prestigious section. No crime or violence is allowed here.
No crime allowed. All right, guys. No doing crime. We don't allow crime here. Here's a list of all the things that are illegal. Number 1, crime. Crime is not just bad, it is illegal. Ah. At least in this space station, crime is illegal. I don't know about other places.
Some places, they're totally fine if you do crime. Thanks, Randy. I did have a happy birthday. Whoop.
No crime or violence is allowed here.
If you want to do crime, go over there. In the other places. I think that's probably Lana.
I thought it wasn't supposed to be allowed anywhere on the station. True,
Nori said. Nori said. Nori said. But as we've found for ourselves... it's a little less not allowed... But as we found for ourselves, it's a little less not allowed in some... Oh my god. Come on. But as we've found for ourselves, it's a little less not allowed in some parts, like the Foundry or Underdome sections. We're not planning on going there, though. Come on.
You guys go ahead,
Lana said.
I'll head over to the archives.
Nori nodded.
While you're at it, can you compile a list of prices for everything the council asked us to bring?
Excuse me.
While you're at it, can you compile a list of prices for everything the council asked us to bring? Sure, I was planning on it. Caddy, go with her, just in case. Let's also keep an open comm channel between us at all times. Aye, aye, Captain.
You expecting any fallout from our little altercation? Bulko asked with a raised brow.
Just playing it safe, Nori said. Hopefully, Diamond will be able to help untangle this whole unpleasantness. They walked down the street, passing dozens of shops selling items ranging from personal implants and augmentations to weapons, armor, drones, and weird household implements. They arrived at a large building. Like the others around it, the structure was made of seamless metal walls, with no apparent windows and a single large entrance. Aliens walked in and out of the lobby. A lone circular kiosk was stationed at the center, surrounded by holo monitors. Nori approached a wall section and touched it lightly. A doorway opened up in the seamless walls, revealing an elevator. The doors closed soundlessly behind them and opened again, after several moments of no apparent movement, to a spacious and pleasantly decorated room.
Hey, kids. Nice of you to finally drop in for a visit. Hey, kids. Nice of you to finally drop in for a visit.
An elderly, rotund black man approached them with open arms.
Welcome to our little hole in the wall.
Diamond? Nori smiled. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
What can I say?
The man shrugged, shaking hands with Bulko and giving the woman a quick hug.
You threw my black ass out here, told me to play nice with the aliens, so that's what I've been trying to do.
Have you managed to make some connections?
Some.
He frowned.
The local leading factions don't take too kindly to newcomers, especially ones. The local leading factions don't take too kindly to newcomers, especially ones from recently infused worlds, but offering access to our aluminum supply opened up a lot of doors.
He chuckled.
Opened up a lot of doors. And a few windows. And a few windows.
That's good. We need your help.
They quickly filled him in about the altercation at the docking tower. The man's face clouded.
Some of these aliens are real trigger-happy. This plane ain't the fuzzy, happy, friendly commercial station they'd like us to believe. The powerful factions are all angling to push their agenda, and they're not afraid to go to extremes to get their way. Money, or Pytech, is all anyone cares about. The peace is kept mostly because everyone considers it counterproductive to their profit margin. Most are willing to abide by the rules as long as the administrator keeps the nadirium supply flowing.
Think you'll be able to smooth things over?
He smiled.
I'm a veritable aluminum baron over here. I should be able to pull some weight around and get security off your head. I should be able to pull some weight around and get security off your heads.
Thanks, Diamond,
Nori said in obvious relief.
Thanks, Diamond,
Nori said.
Now that we've addressed the pressing issue, how about a tour of Earth's embassy?
The man grinned, gesturing around him. The chamber was an open space of about 10 by 10 meters. A thick, earth-made carpet lined the floor, and pictures of their planet hung on the walls. A stylish, heavy oak desk stood on a raised floor section.
My humble abode, Diamond chuckled. A little piece of home away from home. I'm still getting used to hosting alien dignitaries here rather than in my old barber shop. Never thought I'd be missing living in a shelter.
Where do you sleep? Bulko looked around the open room. Diamond gestured at the far corner.
That wall opens into the personnel part of the embassy. Get some rooms for my assistants and me. Got some rooms for my two assistants and me.
Assistants? He grimaced.
Bodyguards might be more accurate, but they're pretty handy in helping me manage things. I got them running errands.
He led them to the oversized desk and, at a wave of his hand, caused several seats to extend out of the floor while taking the wooden chair behind the desk.
Time to talk business?
I think so.
Nori gave him a hint of a smile.
You got the information I forwarded you from the council?
He nodded, his face turning grave.
Though our faction and most of the state are doing well, understand we've not been able to reach many survivors in time, and lose more people as a result every day. I've been looking for ways to increase the support we can send back home, but I'm afraid the situation isn't so simple.
What's the problem? Bulko asked. I get that the council doesn't want to interrupt the weekly shipments we receive from this place, seeing as they help keep everyone in the faction afloat, but we have almost 2 million Pytech to give it a boost.
Diamond shook his head.
Hammerhead is, first and foremost, a station dedicated to catering to the mining industry. Hammerhead is, first and foremost, a station dedicated to catering to the mining industry in the asteroid field. It's not exactly a galactic market hub. The only reason we buy everything here is that it's close to Earth and our aluminum is worth a lot here. Up until now, that was more than enough to meet our relatively minor buying requirements, but...
He grimaced.
In order to scale up, we need access to a place with better supply economics. A place where we can buy ships and the more advanced stuff. I've made some inquiries and have a good place in mind, but the 2 mil you brought won't carry you far at such a place.
We can get more, Nori said. We earned close to 1 million in about 2 days the last time we were here.
That's true, Bulko said, but that was mostly thanks to us taking advantage of the administrator's tax waiver.
and it's expired.
I'm not worried.
Caddy's voice piped from their comms. Caddy's voice piped from their comms. Dark red. This one.
Brainiac has figured out once how to make that score, and she's already on it again. Brainiacking hard all over the place. Also, hey Diamond.
Diamond raised an eyebrow.
Caddy, that's a lot of faith in someone who hadn't even graduated from college before the calamity. Caddy, that's a lot of faith in someone who hadn't even graduated from college before the calamity. But I get your drift. The kid's got talent.
I'm more concerned about the threat from this Eater of Worlds person,
Nori interjected.
What have you been able to find out about them?
Diamond's expression darkened.
Only stories. He's one of them. He's one of them system lords. His territory encompasses a vast area of the galaxy. But unlike the rest of those supposed lords, EOW only has one flagship, and his domain is utterly devoid of sentient, infused life.
Yeah, sounds like a lovable, neighborly guy, Bulko said.
The solar system isn't part of his sector, though, right, boss?
Caddy asked. Diamond shook his head.
No, we're under the domain of a lord called Entroplax, but Earth sits right at the border of his cluster.
So, if this EOW comes for us,
Nori said softly.
There's no guarantee our Lord will make it in time to defend us, if at all.
Diamond's expression clouded.
There's not a lot of information out there about this Eater guy, but from what I've been able to piece out, the name was given to him thousands of years ago for his habit of annihilating life on a planetary scale and absorbing their tech.
Oh, wait. No, that's still Diamond.
There's not a lot of information out there about this Eater guy, but from what I've been able to piece out, the name was given to him thousands of years ago for his habit of annihilating life on a planetary scale and absorbing their tech.
Nori closed her eyes.
It's as we feared.
That was the reason for the calamity. Bulko's knuckles clenched around his arm. Bulko's knuckles clenched around his chair's armrest. The asshole was fattening us up like a bunch of cattle.
That's unsettling,
Cirque said in a subdued tone.
Your local system lord would normally interfere in such an overt threat. Except, maybe... No, Earth is new, but you have a lot of... Then again... Your local system lord would normally interfere in such an overt threat. That's unsettling. That's unsettling,
Cirque said in a...
Your local system lord would normally interfere in such an overt threat. Except... maybe... No, Earth is new, but you have a lot of... Then again,
Yeah? Bulko nudged him.
we're not important enough to fight over.
Diamond finished for him.
With most of our population gone and our currently low technological level, there's a good chance our local lord would deem it not worth his time to intervene. Our warped population is also out of control. It will take time. It will take time.
Where'd he go?
It will take time before it peters out and becomes part of the ecosystem, making it less appealing to fight for our survival. On the other hand,
Nori said grimly.
A planet infested with unchecked warped and broodmothers probably looks like an appetizing feast from someone named Eater of Worlds.
Diamond nodded.
exactly.
I don't get it.
Caddy's voice sounded again through the comms.
Say you're right, and I hope to God you're wrong. But say you're not. How come this EOW hasn't come for us yet?
That's what I've been trying to figure out, the diplomat admitted. If we knew what's been keeping him away, maybe we could lean on that, delaying or possibly averting his arrival altogether.
Cirque sighed.
You're not ripe enough. You're not ripe enough.
All eyes turned to the little alien.
Assuming this lord intends on consuming all the tech on your planet, it makes sense he'll want maximum return on his investment,
Cirque explained.
That there's still time. There's still time before the tech concentration reaches its optimal peak.
What are you talking about? Bulko demanded. We're exterminating the warped by the score every day, cutting back their tech generation. Cirque shook his head.
The warped are still mutating and evolving on your planet, despite your best attempt to cull them. Broodmothers generate more Pytech in the form of new warped, which then keeps evolving to generate more. With your planet's current combat capabilities, you can't reduce their numbers fast enough to compensate for their growth.
Which might be a good thing,
Nori said.
I'm betting this lord is keeping tabs on us. If it looked as though we're reducing his food supply quicker than it builds up, then he'll be coming sooner,
Nathan said grimly.
Yes,
Cirque agreed. Are you telling me? The engineer looked as if he was about to burst a blood vessel. That we need to leave the warped alone?
The alien shook his head. I don't believe so. Even if you somehow manage to reach and arm them all, the remaining human population isn't large enough to hinder the warped growth. From what I know, once the warped settle into a symbiotic tech ecosystem, their average level stays around 10, which I'm assuming is what the system lord is waiting for. The most you can currently hope to achieve is to slow down their evolutions. The most you can currently hope to achieve is to slow down their evolution's progress.
I'd say the average warped level on Earth is around 6,
Nori said.
And it's barely been a year since the calamity.
I'm not an expert, Cirque said, but based on that, if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say that unless you significantly increase your effort against the warped, they would reach an average level of 10 within 6 months. If we somehow manage to scale up and go against them in force, we might be able to extend it to about a year.
Shit, Bulko said. Diamond nodded slowly.
That fits with the bits of information I've been able to gather. It's all second-hand information and speculation, which was why I didn't bring it up first. But it does fit.
So what?
Caddy's voice sounded belligerent.
Are you telling me it's hopeless? The human race is doomed to be annihilated within 6 months, possibly a year if we manage to push back the warped. And what? If we do find a way to take them out quicker, this Lord guy will come by all the sooner to cut his losses?
That's how things look right now,
Diamond replied. Silence spread at the embassy as they all pondered the harsh revelation.
All right.
Nori straightened up, giving everyone a stern look.
Now that we know the worst-case scenario, let's talk about how we can prevent it.
I've been thinking about it, Diamond said. There are two general options ahead of us. We either try to evacuate humanity, or we stay and fight. Neither option will be easy.
We'll never be able to evacuate all the survivors, Nori said. We're still talking about at least 100 million people worldwide, most of whom are lying low. Even if we manage to get to every last one of them, we don't have enough Pytech to hire ships to carry them all. And even if we do, where would we go?
Excuse me. How's everybody doing, by the way? Hope y'all are having a good Wednesday. Hope y'all are enjoying the show here. Where would we go? There it is.
Without resources and military strength, we'll be refugees in space,
The diplomat agreed.
relying on the goodwill of aliens to survive. And to the best of my knowledge, inhabitable planets are already claimed.
What about Grotula 3?
Caddy suggested. Nori shook her head.
There's not enough room inside for everyone, and his exterior is exposed to space.
Then we stay and fight, Bulko said adamantly. Cirque shook his head.
You can't fight a system lord.
Diamond said he only has a single ship.
And still, he is feared and acknowledged by others like him.
Excuse me, guys. He's not actually eating entire planets, right? Nathan asked with uncertainty. Right?
I couldn't find any concrete information about that aspect, Diamond said. All I managed to gather is pretty much rumors. But whether or not he physically consumes the planet itself or not doesn't change anything for us. There's no question that nothing alive will stay behind. We can all agree that staying and trying to save Earth is the only viable option. And as I see it, there are two ways we can go about it. One, we invest every last Pytech we have, work our asses off, and turn Earth into a fortified planet even a system lord would hesitate to attack or eat to whatever the hell it wants to do. We invest every last Pytech we have, work our asses off, and turn Earth into a fortified planet even a system lord would hesitate to attack or eat to whatever the hell it wants to do. Two, we look for allies. There are powerful factions out there we might appeal to for help.
Cirque shook his head again.
You still don't understand the disparity in power. These beings have nigh godly powers and impossibly high levels.
So much so that only something as drastic as consuming a planet worth of Pytech can increase it further. Only a system lord may oppose another system lord.
You might be right, but if we manage to garner enough support, we might be able to make it inconvenient enough for the bastard to give up.
No.
Nori said. Nori said, drawing all eyes to her. The athletic woman rose, looking at everyone.
We can't bet the future of humanity on the hopes of making us too difficult to bother with. We would be lying to ourselves to think we might be able to shore up enough defenses to thwart them. We need the help of a system lord. This Entroplax guy is our best chance.
Diamond raised an eyebrow.
And how are we going to get it? These guys are more like gods than kings. You can't just schedule an appointment with one. I checked.
Nori shook her head.
I don't know. You're the one best positioned to find out more about him. What he might be interested in that we can offer.
That can take some time if it's at all possible.
Which makes it clear what our next step should be.
Nori looked around.
We must slow down the spread of the warped. By us that year. We need to give the people back on Earth all the tools we can for them to last long enough for us to figure a way out of this mess.
Which leads us back to our first problem, Bulko said. We need to get a lot of Pytech. Fast. Lana's voice came over the comms.
And I just might have the way to do it. Meet me back at Unity, guys. We need to talk.
Sorry about that, guys. Just had to take care of a little thing. What's up, Mole Whiz? Are you guys going to release 1 month earlier with other books on your site like you do with Eternal Dominion? I don't know. What we're really trying to do is figure out how to make the platform viable, how to make it to where, we can release our bigger titles there and still have plenty of people come and buy it up so that we don't have to rely on the Amazon algorithm. But it's a catch-22, right? Like, if we actually do get a bunch of sales by releasing early on our platform, then that means that when we release it on Audible, there's not all those people already ready to purchase to bump the book up in the algorithm for Audible. So, like, we have to make sure that the number of people that we bring to our platform to buy it early will outstrip whatever gains we get from the algorithm boosting the title in the Audible marketplace. And that's tricky as hell. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh man. Dude, Harmon Cooper sends the best memes. God. Oh man. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. All right, not much more. I think we can do one more chapter here in this set before we need a new one. I mean, here's the thing. We're already giving out. Malwiz says, not sure if it would work, but can you give an Audible code to those who buy on SBT? Would that boost your numbers on Amazon? We already give all of our codes out. So, like, that's, we, as soon as we release something, we give all of our codes out for that title at once. So that boosts the algorithm. So if we're already doing that, we can't, there's no way to compensate for other people. I don't know. It just wouldn't have an effect. That's already a thing we do. So. All right, Chapter 6. Chapter 6. The Plan. Judy was already out of the medbay when the rest of the crew returned to their ship. She looked pale, but had no trouble walking around on her own, muttering something that sounded suspiciously like, "I need to take a sample." The biotinker walked behind her, monitoring her vitals on his wrist console.
Here.
The expert passed each of them a thin strip of metal.
I picked up language pack implants for you. It works better than the direct data transfer I gave you before.
The two thanked her and pressed the implants to their temples. Where they melted and slipped into their skins.
All right, Lana,
Nori said once the process was finished and everyone reconvened at the galley.
Let us have it.
Lana nodded. Without any visible gesture, a holographic model of Unity appeared, hovering over the table.
I've been thinking of ways to maximize the profits we can squeeze out of our current resources. Hammerhead is a famous mining hub for nadirium, which is worth quite a lot, and we have a mining ship.
Caddy sighed.
Gotta say, Brainiac, I was expecting a little more than reiterating your old plan. Harvest nadirium, convert it to erodium alloy, and sell it back to the station for a huge profit margin.
Lana smiled.
That's the gist of it. However, that original plan won't work anymore. That tax waiver Hazar gave us has expired, which means with the additional manufacturing cost, we'll be losing over 60% of the metal's worth to convert it into iridium. I think we can do better than that. Unity gives us a unique advantage over most other mining vessels, but that's not the only one we have. Can you guess at the other one?
Grotula 3's formula, Sork said. It was specifically tuned to locate nadirium deposits in the local asteroid field.
Exactly.
Caddy frowned. Didn't we give that to the Syndicate?
We gave them a copy,
Nori said gently.
It's just digital data.
Oh. But I thought Unity can't crunch the numbers on her own, Bulko said. Need a dedicated computer or something like that.
Exactly,
The young expert said brightly.
So, the first step of my plan is to buy a processing unit powerful enough to calculate the movement of celestial bodies using Grotula 3's formula.
Nori frowned. That can't be cheap.
It isn't. And that's not the only thing we'll need to invest in for my plan to work. We'll have to spend nearly all of the Pytech the Council has given us.
Leonard raised his hand in hesitation. Aren't we supposed to use all that Pytech to purchase more advanced technologies for Earth?
We can do that, Lana agreed, and that will probably allow them to reach most survivors in the United States. Or we can take a risk, invest that money, and possibly earn enough to help everyone on Earth.
How about you let us in on the full plan? Nori suggested. Then we can discuss it as a group. Caddy rolled her eyes.
What's to discuss? You all know whatever plan little Miss Sexy Brain gonna come up with will be brilliant, thorough, and we'll all go along with it in awed silence.
Lana blushed.
Thanks, Caddy. I think. Anyway, a Grade E astrometric computer will set us back 150,000 Pytech, but I looked into it, and that won't be enough. It wouldn't be able to process the formula fast enough to come up with actionable results. It's going to have to be a Grade D computer at the minimum, and that's going to cost 400,000 Pytech.
She looked around expectantly, but Caddy's sentiment seemed to resonate with the others. They patiently waited for the expert to continue.
So,
she hesitantly continued,
the new computer theoretically should allow us to locate good deposits of raw nadirium, which we can sell back to the station at 100 Pytech per kilo.
Another meaningful pause followed without interruption.
Come on, guys,
Lana complained.
You're not playing your part. One of you is supposed to object, saying we'll need You're not playing your part. One of you is supposed to object, saying we'll need to mine tons of nadirium for us to even make back the investment.
Yeah, we already know you'll have a genius comeback, Brainiac. Caddy grinned at her.
Don't stretch it out. Just let us know the plan, and then we follow it like good kids. You're no fun,
Lana complained.
All right. So the idea is this. Along with the station's taxes, the fees involved in refining raw nadirium into its pure form and then into iridium take a huge chunk of the revenue. You already mentioned it's 60%. Right, so I was thinking, why not just do it ourselves?
She looked around triumphantly. Go on, girl. How do we do that? Bulko said.
Simple. The station specializes in that process, which means there's a ton of machinery available for purchase that can refine ores and produce high-end alloys, such as iridium.
One question. Well, I guess two, Bulko said, counting on his fingers. Doesn't Unity already have that ability? The mining spider drone we confiscated on the moon produced some mithril, after all. Unity's orb pulsed.
I'm afraid the more complex systems of the excavation drone were required to facilitate its absorption.
Bulko frowned. I guess that explains why we never managed to get more mithril. Too bad. Okay, second question. The kind of machinery you're talking about, girl, takes a lot of space. My path gives me an idea of roughly how much, and I'm not sure even Unity's hangar will be enough.
Glad you brought that up,
Lana beamed.
because you're right. Unity will need to be bigger, which means that before Nadirium, we'll first go mining for Trinium to build her up.
Huh. Not a bad plan. Since we're in a bit of a time crunch, why not buy the Trinium directly from the station? The cost is pretty low compared to our current funds.
Because,
Lana winced.
even in a futuristic space station, bureaucracy still exists. Station security still hasn't lifted our under investigation status, which limits our ability to do business with their export department. Diamond should be able to smooth it over. Eventually. Won't that make it impossible? Won't that make it impossible for us to buy all the foundry equipment as well? Caddy asked. The expert gave a half smile. Luckily, this time, the bureaucracy is on our side. This sort of equipment goes through a different department, and they haven't yet received the update on our status, and probably won't receive it anytime soon, so we're good on that front. We can even sell the erodium we produce back to the station. It's just dealing with their resource export branch, which is what the station is famous for, which is restricted. Mining trinium it is then, Nori said. Back to the machinery. How much will that cost? Everything required to produce erodium will cost about 500,000 Pytek. That's not so much, she added hurriedly. If we hadn't found the D-grade core, we'd have to buy one to operate. If we hadn't found the D-grade core, we'd have to buy one to operate all the machines, and power cores don't come cheap. All right, that's not a bad plan, Lana, Nori said. After the computer and the mining equipment, we'll still have about 1,000,000 Pytek left. Not exactly, Lana said. For my plan to work, there's one more thing we need to invest in. If you're going for another dramatic pause, I'm going to hit you, Caddy threatened. At a spot I'd enjoy, reserved for bad girls who need some... At a spot I'd enjoy, reserved for bad girls who need some... Ourselves! We'll need to invest in ourselves! Lana said quickly. The new astrometric computer will need a sufficiently high-level navigator to make full use of, which means we'll need to bring Nori to level 10. And the new machinery won't be easy to install, so a level 10 engineer is something of a necessity as well. I don't know, Nori said. Bulko and I each need 167 tech to level up. That's over 300,000 Pytek combined. Hey, what about me? Caddy said in indignation. You don't strictly have to be level 10 for the plan to work, Lana said, somewhat lamely. Though, given the higher risks we might face, it will be good to have a level 10 combat path around. I agree, Nori said. Caddy, how much tech do you need to level up? The sharpshooter's eyes glazed over for a second. I'm at 307 tech. So 205 for you, which makes it an additional 539,000 Pytek we need to spend, Nori said. After all the equipment we need to buy, that doesn't leave us much to work with. My main concern is what kind of return are we looking at and how long it would take us to execute the plan. If it takes too long, getting the most of our funds now might be preferable.
Installing several hundred metric tons of equipment can take weeks on my own, Bulko objected.
These machines aren't These machines aren't part of the station's available upgrades.
It won't take that long. Nathan's soft voice drew everyone's attention. He blushed slightly. My soulmate's recent path upgrades allows me to assimilate most compatible machines on my own, Unity's soft voice sounded. Though the engineer's assistance, meager as it might be, might prove beneficial.
Always nice to be appreciated, Bulko said dryly.
And I already checked about the computer.
Lana added.
It's pretty much a plug-and-play thing. We just need to dedicate one of our open workrooms, converting it into an astrometric lab. As for expected revenues, I can't say for sure, but the formula should improve our chances of finding nadirium deposits 100-fold. We mined 32 kilos on our own last time. With everything in place, 100 kilos of raw nadirium converted into erodium would net us 300,000 Pytech, as opposed to 100,000 if we brought it to Hammerhead for processing. And that's the plan, I guess. What do you think?
Lana looked around proudly. We should run it by Diamond first, Nori said. We're talking about spending a large part of our Earth Force funds on something that amounts to a gamble on the future of our planet.
I sorta already ran it by him when I asked his help with our status. He grumbled something about all this techno mumbo-jumbo, but ended up saying that we should do what we think is best since it worked out so far. Personally, I think he's still getting used to his new position and isn't comfortable making these types of decisions yet. So, what do you think?
All in favor of accepting Brainiac's plan like we all knew we would? All in favor of accepting Brainiac's plan like we all knew we would? Raise your hands, Caddy said. All hands rose. How long will it take to buy and bring everything on board? Nori asked.
Well, I've already filled up the orders and took the liberty of depositing enough crystallized Pytech into our account, so...
Lana tapped her wrist console, and a chime came out of Nori's.
As soon as you approve the transaction, Captain.
Nori smiled and pressed her console. Done. She stood and took out a tear-shaped crystal and divided it into 3. She stood and took out a tear-shaped crystal and divided it into 3. She stood and took out a tear-shaped crystal and divided it into 3, giving one to Bulko and Caddy. Guess it's time for us three to do our part. There we go. All right. Let me get some more water. Back at her cabin, Nori palmed the physical piece of Pytech, took a deep breath, and absorbed it. The crystal melted, slipping into her skin.
Level 10 reached. Pilot path has reached a crossroad. Choose one. Astrogator. Improve navigation and piloting skills using interstellar travel. Field Flyer. Improve navigation and piloting skills using thrusters.
She liked the sound of Astrogator more. But having a cool-sounding path wasn't enough on its own. Astrogator might also improve the speed we travel between star systems, Nori mused out loud. But if we're engaged by enemy ships, being able to maneuver better using thrusters is probably preferable. Not to mention, her eyes drifted to the hollow window, mimicking the view outside the station. There's a literal field out there we'll have to fly through soon. As before, the more immediate benefits outweighed any long-term value she might gain, seeing as Earth might not have a long term to aspire to if their current endeavor failed. Field flyer it is.
Attribute points to assign? 4.
Nori nodded, expecting the message. She already knew where she was going to invest them. All 4 points went into agility, raising its base to 10, while the final score, augmented by her armor and implant, reached 13.
Prerequisite met. Agility 10. Ambidexterity gained.
Huh, Nori said, looking down. The veins at her arms glowed in faint blue light below her skin before turning off. This can come in handy.
Nori. Human. Level 10. 512 Tech. Path. Navigator. Pilot. Field flyer. Score 28. Attributes. Strength 4. Agility 13. Primary. Intelligence 5. Secondary. Control 9. Primary. Awareness 6. Secondary. Appeal 2. Conditions. Level suppression -2. Ambidexterity. Agility 10.
Bulko had absorbed his piece of Pytech and now stared in annoyance at the options available to him.
Level 10 reached. Astro Engineer path has reached a crossroad. Choose one. Drone tech. Improve efficiency of onboard support drones. Attuner. Optimize existing systems. May specialize in one.
None of the options appealed to him. They seemed to turn him more into a glorified operator than the actual greasy-elbowed mechanic that he was. He wasn't even sure why he felt angry. The options couldn't be bad. A level 10 path was bound to be more effective than the ones he gained before. Still, it bothered him. Then something changed. The engineer swooned. "What the hell?" he muttered, feeling like his cabin shrunk by 2 sizes around him. The hovering text on his interface flickered, and suddenly, a third option presented itself.
Cyberpath. Able to intuit and perceive. Able to intuit and perceive a chosen sentient vessel at a fundamental level. Requirement: access to a sentient ship.
Okay, you're messing with me, right? No one answered. What the hell? He chose the new option and waited. Nothing happened other than the next expected message.
Attribute points to assign: 5.
He put 2 points into intelligence, bringing its base score to 10, which his implant augmented to 11, and poured the last 3 points into control, raising it to 9, which his armor and implant boosted to 12.
Prerequisite met. Intelligence 10. Unipathy gained.
He wasn't sure what the new ability meant and was about to move out of his cabin when a weird sensation came over him. A smug, feminine voice spoke in his head.
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes. Yes, I am.
The sharpshooter had a much easier time at her selection than her other two crewmates once she absorbed her portion of the Pytech.
Level 10 reached. Come on, Valkyrie of Death. Field controller has reached a crossroads. Choose one. Valkyrie of Death, Valkyrie of Death! Hit me! Jaeger. Improves stealth and ability to hit targets unawares. Caster. Allows aiming at multiple targets at once. Close enough, she cheered. Jaeger it is! So cool! She made her selection and then paused. I wonder what that word means. Ah, well. Attribute points to assign. 5.
Her attribute boost trait gave her 1 more point than normal. She had a momentary hesitation as she considered where to invest them. Both her agility and awareness were at 8, both boosted by 3 points by her armor and implant, meaning she... Both her agility and awareness were at 8, both boosted by 3 points by her armor and implant, meaning she'd have to invest the full 5 points to bring one of them to the desired base score of 10. The fiery woman was conflicted. On the one hand, being able to better perceive everything around her was very appealing. Caddy smirked as she imagined how much easier it would be to torment the ship's expert with her enhanced, penetrating gaze. On the other hand, agility would probably allow her to rain death and destruction that much easier.
Messing around with Brainiac or killing enemies. Tough choice.
With a sigh, reminding herself that the fate of humanity might be hanging in the balance, Caddy diverted all 5 points into agility.
Prerequisites met. Agility 10. Nimble fingers trait gained.
Her smirk grew into a full-blown evil grin as she read the new trait's description. Then again, agility might work out just as well. She glanced at her full stats before making her way out of her cabin.
Caddy. Human. Level 10. 512 tech. 512 tech. Path. Sharpshooter. Field controller. Score 21. Attributes. Strength 1. Agility 13. Secondary. Intelligence 2. Control 11. Primary. Awareness 8. Secondary. Appeal 3. Conditions. Attribute boost +1 per level. Steady aim. Control 10. Nimble fingers. Agility 10.
Oh, what's she gonna do with them damn nimble fingers? To mess with Lana. Hey, thanks for coming, Christian Bonus. Glad to have you. Hope you're having a good time here. Came here all the way from Germany. Must have been quite the trek. Lana and Bulko stood at the newly christened Astrometric Lab, with Unity's purple orb hovering nearby. "So how do we do this, girl?" Bulko asked. The engineer held a smooth metal box about the size of a medium aquarium. Even at level 10, my path doesn't tell me anything about this thing. Even at level 10, my path doesn't tell me anything about this thing. Lana was quickly swiping the holographic pages of the manual.
Based on what I'm reading, we just need to plug it into a compatible port, and the automatic installation process should take it from there.
What port? There are only bare walls in this room. Allow me, Unity spoke. Metallic cables extended from the walls around them, snaking toward the box. Bulko jumped with a curse as one of the cables snaked between his legs and let go of the box. Instead of hitting the floor, the cables snapped forward, connecting to the box, unfolding like a kid's puzzle box, revealing intricate components and multi-layered light consoles. The components separated from one another and holographic connections stretched between them. They rotated slowly as the cables guided them into particular spots along the wall. A pedestal rose from the center of the room as the hovering components were absorbed into the walls. There was a low hum, then the dais exploded in a holographic rotating display of thousands of dots. What the? Bulko was speechless as the room they stood in suddenly darkened, illuminated only by the slowly rotating asteroids, stars, and planets. It was like they were standing out in space.
Is the asteroid field... It's the asteroid field outside the station,
Lana said in an odd voice. Astrometric lab configuration completed, Unity answered, loading the formula. The distant stars remained constant. Oops. The distant stars remained constant. But the thousands of asteroids filling the space started rotating backward at a steadily increasing speed. But the asteroids collided, forming larger ones, which hurtled backward in time, merging with others. Calculating. The two continued to watch the spectacle with bated breath. Calculating. The view continued to shift as asteroids, comets, and debris circled at incredible speed inside the room, seemingly spreading even farther than the physical walls should allow. Calculating.
This might take a while,
Lana said. You are correct, Science Officer, Unity said. Preliminary results are being compiled and will be forwarded to the pilot station for You are correct, Science Officer. Preliminary results are being compiled and will be forwarded to the pilot station for final... Preliminary results are being compiled and will be forwarded to the pilot station for final analysis. Preliminary results are being compiled and will be forwarded to the pilot station for final analysis when ready. Not bad, girl, Bulko said and patted the dais. Now, let's go feed you something bigger. Bulko frowned as they exited Unity back into the docking chamber. Where's all the machinery we're expecting?
It should have been here by now,
Lana said, reaching for a holo monitor mounted on the wall and studying it.
Says here the cargo was delayed. Some sort of a shipping problem at the Foundry Dome. It's where the supplier is located. It doesn't say what's wrong.
Nori, the large man. The large man raised a finger to his temple. You heard that?
Yes.
The captain's voice answered through the comm.
I'm busy sifting through the navigational data the new astrometric lab is forwarding me. Damn, I need more time to get a handle on everything.
Not to worry, Captain, we're perfectly capable. Not to worry, Captain, we're perfectly capable of going out there on our own and sorting it out. Not to worry, Captain, we're perfectly capable of going out there on our own and sorting it out.
I don't know.
Not like we're going to the Underdome looking for trouble, Captain.
All right, but be careful. Find our cargo and get back.
Roger that.
The engineer turns to Lana.
Care to join me for a walk?
It took them less than 20 minutes to catch the tram to the Foundry Dome and arrive at the large warehouse at the edge of the industrial zone. A sizable anti-grav carrier blocked the entrance. Huh, Lana said, bringing up her wrist console and waving over the display. A stream of information passed over it, which was instantly mirrored by a small holo monitor that sprang into being at the carrier's end. That's ours, all right. Says here it wasn't able to reach the pickup destination.
Let's go inside and see if there's someone we can talk to, Bulko suggested.
Lana scrunched her nose. I guess we should.
Why the long face?
It just irks me that even with futuristic, highly advanced alien technology, you still need people to watch over the process.
And good thing it is. If the machines could handle everything on their own, there wouldn't be much use for us being here, eh?
I guess. It's just annoying.
Come on.
They approached an open, man-sized doorway on the side of the hangar doors and found the space within... They approached an open, man-sized doorway on the side of the hangar doors and found the space within filled to the brim with machinery. Cranes were moving heavy loads around, fitting them in and out. Cranes were moving heavy loads around, Cranes were moving heavy loads around, fitting them in and out. Cranes were moving heavy loads around, fitting them in and out like pieces of a puzzle. That's more like it, Lana said. A harried-looking Enthidlon appeared behind a large crate. Let's go with Will on this one. Yes? Can I help you? Yes, can I help you? Yes, can I help you? His name's Greg. What's his name? Old Greg. I'm old Greg. I'm tough Greg. I'm tough Greg. Hold on. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, I'm tough Greg. You guys remember old Greg?
God, back in 2008.
I've got something. I've got something! Come to Papa Moon. That's it. Come on. Oh. Oh. Ah.
Hi there.
Who are you?
I'm old Greg. Pleased to meet you.
What do you want?
Maybe I should ask you the same question. What you doing in my waters?
Just taking the air, you know. Not fishing.
But then how come this hook's in my head, fool?
It's nothing to do with me, sir.
It's attached to your rod, mother liquor.
Don't kill me. I've got so much to give.
Easy now, fuzzy little man Peach. You ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
What?
You wanna come to a club where people wee on each other?
No.
I'm gonna hurt you.
Excuse me?
I like you. What do you think of me?
I don't rightly know, sir.
Make an assessment.
I think you're a nice, modern gentleman.
Don't lie to me, boy.
I'm not lying.
I know what you're thinking. Here comes old Greg. He's a scaly manfish. You don't know me. You don't know what I got. I got something to show you. You know what that is? That's old Greg's vagina. I got a mangina. I'm old Greg.
Oh my god. Yep, old Greg. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use that voice. I'm Tough Greg. Yes, can I help you? Yes, can I help you? Tav Greg, Inthidlon, Level 6, Machinator.
Hey there, Greg.
Bulko said. Greg frowned.
The name's Tough Greg, human. I'm busy. What do you want? I'm Tough Greg. We didn't mean to disturb you, sir.
Lana stepped smoothly in front of the large engineer. Lana stepped smoothly in front of the large engineer. One more time. Lana stepped smoothly in front of the large engineer.
We've ordered a few things from your warehouse, and it seems the shipment was delayed. That's our carrier outside. We've ordered a few...
The man's demeanor changed. It was subtle, and Lana was sure that without her language and advanced sensory implants, she wouldn't be able to read the alien expressions. She wouldn't be able to read the alien expressions, which now projected fear and concern.
Yes, you're from the vessel Unity? There is,
Let it out, buddy, Bulko said. The Enthidlon gulped, a gesture common enough for both humans to comprehend.
I'm afraid your shipment was... delayed.
Bulko frowned. By who?
By us. I'm Tough Greg. The name's Tough Greg, human. The name's Tough Greg, human. I'm busy. What do you want?
By us. Carnaphs, gray-skinned, muscular alien. That's right.
By us. By us.
give this one to Will.
By who? By us.
Oh, here it is.
By who? By us.
4 large Carnaphs entered the warehouse. The gray-skinned, muscular aliens stepped forward. Their single horns made them intimidating. There was no mistaking the hostility as they approached.
They're all level 8,
Lana whispered hurriedly.
That's all I can tell through their obfuscation implants. What are we going to do?
The engineer's fists tightened at his sides. Unity's crew had already tangled with this brutish race before, and the latter's superior physical advantage enabled them to easily subdue the humans. Only Nathan's timely intervention, taking control of the enemy's drone, allowed them to come up on top. But there was no drone or Nathan around, and these 4 levels... And the levels of these 4... And the levels of these 4 Carnaphs were higher than the ones in the previous encounter.
Any reason y'all messed around with our order?
The large man said. His eyes narrowed. The lead Carnaph chuckled.
Not every day a ship unaffiliated with any of the local mining factions dispatches a large order for mining equipment. That got a few people curious.
You're with the Alpha Miners, then? Bulko growled, sliding out a syringe from his belt. Another of the aliens snorted.
Those weaklings?
The leader chuckled again.
We're, shall we call us a more entrepreneurial? Organization?
You're with the Syndicate, then? That took the 4 by surprise.
No need to go that far. We're just a bunch of poor station dwellers, down on their luck.
Looking to take yours!
A third let out a rough laugh.
Please. Please don't start anything in here.
The Enthidlon's fleshy bristles paled.
Station security.
Quiet!
The Carnaph leader barked.
I'm old Greg.
That's annoying. Let me see something here. Well, I don't know what to do about this. The Carnaff leader barked. He turned back to the humans.
Pretty ballsy for the two of you to walk around in the open, flashing your level 10 around. I figured a ship with enough Pytech to order so much equipment will have a decently leveled crew. But level 10... looks like we're in for quite a haul, boys.
The 4 aliens let out evil chuckles, spread around as they drew energy pistols, and fired.
Oh, boys.
The 4
Oh, boys.
The 4
Oh, boys.
The 4 aliens let out evil chuckles, spread around as they drew energy pistols, and fired. Lana and Bulko's energy shields flared as their armor absorbed the shots, but the aliens didn't look impressed.
Your fancy armor won't help you much in close quarters,
The leader said as all 4 took out electrified batons.
You should have known better than to walk around carrying so much Pytech without protection.
That's why they brought a level 10 Jaeger with them, honey. Hadn't yo mama ever told you not to... Hadn't yo mama ever told you never to bring a baton to a cannon fight? Caddy!
Lana cried in relief as the other woman materialized out of the shadows. The Jaeger's 2 bracelets had already assumed their twin cannon shape around her wrists, which she promptly fired, each aimed at a different Carnaff's head, blasting 2 off their feet. The closest alien roared and turned on her. The closest alien roared and turned on her while the leader charged Lana. Bulko stepped in front of the terrified girl, sticking the syringe in his neck and hitting the plunger. His eyes burned red for an instant before he extracted the needle and his armor's helm closed over his face. His body seemed to inflate below the heavy plates, and his fist met the alien's baton. The puncher shot forward, breaking the melee weapon and hitting the arm holding it with the audible sound of snapping bones. Lana took out her zapper and shot the one who was fighting Caddy. The weakened blast hit the alien's back and dissipated harmlessly, but the Jaeger wasn't caught flat-footed. Her cannon bracelets needed a few more seconds to recharge, but they were far from her only weapons. With a movement so fast Lana wasn't able to track it, she drew out her huge 50 caliber revolver, pressed the muzzle at a descending arm, and fired. The huge warped buster slug tore straight through the alien's thick arm, causing an explosion of gray flesh as the limb fell to the floor. The alien roared and dropped to his knees, cradling his stump. Caddy pointed the weapon down at his forehead.
Better give up unless you want me to shoot you in a place that won't grow back.
With a grunt, Bulko headbutted the larger alien. The armored helmet hit the Carnaph's thick cranium, dropping him unconscious to the floor.
I surrender!
The armless alien cried out, still cradling his stump.
Please don't kill me!
Bulko grunted and steadied himself, probing at a dent on his helmet. "What are you doing here, girl?" Maybe that should go in. What are you doing? What are you doing here, girl?
Nori sent me, Caddy answered with a broad grin. She thought you might need someone to watch your six. Guessed that was pilot talk for watching your big ass and Brainiac's cute behind. It does feel good when a level 10 Jaeger has your back, eh? It does feel good when a level 10 Jaeger has your back, eh? How did you appear out of the shadows like that?
Lana asked.
Part of the new path perks.
The woman winked at her.
That 200,000 Pytech I needed to level up doesn't look like much of That 200,000 Pytech I needed to level up doesn't look like such a waste now, eh? That 200,000 Pytech I needed to level up doesn't look like such a waste now, does it?
I had it under control, Bulko grunted, lowering his arm as the dent in his helm slowly fixed itself.
Sure you did, big guy.
Bulko grunted noncommittedly and stepped close. Bulko grunted noncommittedly and stepped close to the only conscious Carnaph. "Time to talk, buddy. Who sent you?" The alien looked up, eyes narrow in hate. "Want my friend here to take your other arm off?"
No one sent us. Please don't kill me! No one sent us. No one sent us.
The alien growled defiantly. "No one? As in a syndicate speaker?" The alien flinched.
No! I mean no one sent us. We work at one of the station's logistic departments. Grok," he nodded toward their fallen leader, "keeps an eye out for opportunities. Your purchase order caught his attention. We figured a rich ship with no local ties would be easy prey."
He looked around at his fallen comrades.
"We were wrong."
"Damn straight you were," Bulko growled menacingly.
"I'm sorry!"
I'm sorry.
The Amphidlon who hid behind a container through the short fight stepped in.
No. I'm sorry.
The Amphidlon who hid behind a container through the short fight. The Amphidlon who hid behind a container through the short fight stepped in.
They came in and demanded that I delay the shipment. They came in and demanded that I delay the shipment.
And you didn't have the spine to stand up to them, Bulko said with contempt. The Amphidlon took a step back.
They're from They're from Station Logistics. I couldn't refuse them. If you only waited a little longer, If you only waited a little longer, their supervisor would have been alerted. If you only waited a little longer, their supervisor would have been alerted of the delay, and the whole matter would have resolved itself. What were you thinking, walking around openly in the Foundry District?
Oh, man.
We knew better than to head to the Underdome. We thought this area was supposed to be safe.
For most people, sure. But this isn't the Metrodome. If you walk around flashing your level 10 around, you'll draw unwelcome attention. He's right, Lana grimaced. From their perspective, we're walking around with a suitcase filled with cash. The alien nodded. Is that news to you? It is dangerous to purchase a level above 9, unless you're combat paths.
The administrator is level 24, Bulko protested.
The administrator is rich and powerful enough to pay for good protection, and even he isn't pretentious enough to purchase level 25.
Now you listen here, Greg?
Tough Greg.
Whatever. We ain't no helpless kids, let me tell you that. We ain't no helpless kids, let me tell you that. Feel free to spread that around.
The armless alien, still on his knees, lifted his face.
You better let us go. If our friends find out what we're missing. If our friends find out that we're missing.
His voice instantly cut off as Bulko stepped forward and punched the side of his head, laying him out cold.
If our friends find out we're missing...
His voice instantly cut off.
He's not wrong, Tough Greg said. You don't want to mess with his friends. They're
Union. Got it.
A nod.
You can call station security. My security system will show you were defending yourself, but...
He hesitated.
But they'll get a slap on the wrist and then be out looking for us again?
Bulko raised an eyebrow.
I'm afraid so. If this encounter happened in the Metrodome, things would have been different. But in the less reputable domes...
Figures.
Caddy, let's drag these sorry sacks of crap out of here.
You can't kill them.
The Amphidlon bristles paled. Don't worry. I had something else in mind. You just make sure our order makes it to our ship immediately.
I understand.
Let's go.
I'm Tough Greg.
Oh man, I'm so glad I had an opportunity to use that voice.
I'm Tough Greg.
Oh man. Where are we at? What time is it? It's 2:15. Oh man, we're past 2:40 here. That's all right. Bulko grabbed two of the Carnaphs with his hands, while thin robotic arms extended from his shoulder, grabbing hold of a third. He dragged them out of the warehouse with nothing more than a grunt, while the two women struggled. He dragged them He dragged them out of the warehouse with nothing more than a grunt, while the two women struggled to pull the fourth. Even combined, their strength attributes were a fraction of his.
What? What are you going to do with them? What are you going to do to them? What are you going to do to them? What are you going to do to them?
Lana asked in hesitation as Caddy pointed her revolver at the aliens with a raised eyebrow. Bulko shook his head. No, I got a better idea. He brought up his wrist console, tapping lightly on the hovering holoscreen. Then he held a finger to his ear implant. Panda Bear? Got any dinner plans? You know, having a sexy alien vampire chick on your speed dial turned out to be more helpful than I'd thought, Caddy said as the three made it back to Unity. The large anti-grav carrier was already waiting for them when they arrived. As a mining colony that doubled as a logistical station, Hammerhead was well suited for the loading and unloading of a wide range of materials for a wide range of vessels. Huge robotic arms were already lifting the heavy machinery and stacking it inside Unity's cargo hold. The Jaeger lifted the 3 batons they had confiscated.
I'll just put these in the armory. We're starting to grow quite the collection of these.
I'll make sure everything makes it in all right, Bulko said. Don't want any damage to the old girl's paint job. He winced suddenly, instinctively reaching for an ear. No, I didn't mean to say you're old.
I think I'll...
Lana looked at him in concern.
Go to the bridge, I guess.
The engineer nodded. You do that, girl. Let the captain know we'll be ready to lift off soon. The crew assembled back at the bridge. Everything loaded up and secured in place, Bulko said as he leaned back in his seat.
All right, Lana,
Nori said from her place in the pilot's seat.
What's the next phase? We need to make space to deploy our new mining machines.
The expert said distractedly as she brought up several holo monitors.
We need to make space to deploy our new mining machines.
The expert said distractedly as
I've drawn out some basic schematics using Unity's restructuring feature. I want to add another floor below the main deck. A basement? Anyway, we have enough palladium, but we'll need 10 tons of trinium for that.
How do we find the best place to mine some?
Luckily, mining operations for trinium components are minimal, Lana said. The station only mines enough for its continued operations, so there's no competition for good mining spots. Aluminum is the real problem when producing trinium, but we're covered in that regard. We'll only need to use 2 tons of the 8 we have in storage. As for all the other common materials, there are plenty of freely available geological surveys specifying their location. It's just a matter of requesting them from the station and deciding on the spot. The station only mines enough.
The expert's fingers flickered on her light consoles. Each hand operating separately.
Here we go. The closest rich asteroid is just under 200,000 kilometers away. Forwarding you the coordinates, Captain. I'm also asking the station's control for permission to disengage.
Nori nodded.
Got it. Setting a course. And looks like it's gonna be an hour to get there.
Unity?
An unfamiliar voice spoke through their comms.
This is Hammerhead Control. You are clear to disengage. Since you've already paid for a full rotation, your docking spot will remain available for the duration.
Thanks, Hammerhead.
Nori replied.
All right, guys. Releasing docking seals.
The clamps around Unity disengaged, and the vessel slowly floated away, following its highlighted flight path, entering the never-ending traffic going in and out of the station. A few minutes later, they veered off the main traffic, aiming toward a relatively close asteroid. From her seat in the back, Caddy stared at the rest of her friends as they pored over their various controls and consoles.
So, what y'all doing?
Calibrating the asteroid cannon and energy weapons, Cirque replied from his position on the left side of the bridge. Making sure the extra weight does not interfere with our systems, Bulko grunted.
And I, Unity's sphere pulsed, am making sure the engineer's weight doesn't interfere with his systems. Am making sure the engineer's weight doesn't interfere with his systems.
Ha ha.
I'm still sifting through the information our new astrometric lab is sending my way,
Nori said, rubbing her tired eyes.
It's a lot of navigational data, and not all are relevant. I have to make a lot of adjustments, tweaking the output and trimming it to match our needs. Navigational stuff, got it.
Caddy grinned.
Brainiac? I'm checking Unity's information, tweaking the schematics for the new basement, and... Oh, our girl has some new options. I'm guessing it's because of your recent level up?
Yes, Nathan replied simply.
Cool.
Caddy paused.
What sort of options?
In response, the expert's fingers danced on one of her smaller side monitors, bringing up new data to the bridge's leftmost view screen.
Unity. Evolving ship. Class, mining freighter. Bonded.
Excuse me.
Bonded level, 10. Speed, 220 VJ. Storage space, 2,100 cubic meters plus 200 ton. $2,100 cubic meters plus 200 ton. 2,100 cubic meters plus 200 ton internal storage capacitors. Specs and upgrades. Defense. 1. Basic plating, level 1. Purchased. 2. Medium plating, level 5. Last steel, 6 ton. 3. Adaptive micromesh, level 10. Erodium, 500 kilograms. Mobility. 1. Basic thrusters, level 1. Purchased. Enhanced. 2. Null tunnel drive, level 5. Purchased. 3. Advanced thrusters, level 10. Last steel, 2 ton. Erodium, 200 kilogram. Mining. 1. Alter mode. Purchased. 2. Grapplers, level 1. Purchased. 3. Asteroid cannon, level 5. Purchased. 4. Advanced mining, level 10. Optical grading crystal, 500 kilograms. Configuration. 1. Restructuring. Trinium requirement based on size. First deck, second deck, foundry deck. In progress. Required. Trinium, 10 tons. Trinium, 10 ton. Palladium, 2 ton. 2. Integral storage capacitors, level 5. Purchased. 3. Enhanced alter mode, level 10. Trinium, 20 ton. Prerequisites. Medium plating. Purchased upgrades. 1. Sensors, grade E. 2. Prospecting scanner, grade E. 3. Internal diagnosis scanner, grade E. 4. Power core, grade D. 5. Twin energy cannons, grade E.
See what you mean about reaching level 10, opening up new options, girl, Bulko noted. Some interesting stuff there.
Our interstellar speed has increased by 10%, Nori said. Was this also part of your level up, Nathan?
The young man nodded.
My soulmate's new path enables me to grow more organically, Unity added. I was able to correct inefficiencies and optimize some of my systems.
I wouldn't say no to the medium plating, Bulko mused, especially since it's the requirement for the advanced alter mode. Especially since it's the requirement for the enhanced alter mode, whatever that is. What's lasteel, though?
A type of malleable alloy, Cirque explained. It requires an element that can only be produced through a chemical process, thus unattainable using conventional mining methods.
The large man's brow furrowed. Like plastic?
Similar, though its molecular structure allows it to bind with metallic components. It is readily available for purchase at sizable ports outside Hammerhead. Nathan, any idea what the enhanced alter mode is about? Nori asked.
Only generally. It should make Unity more responsive and adaptable in her other form.
Probably bigger, too, Caddy pointed out. I mean, those 20 tons of trinium gotta go somewhere, right?
Several long, boring moments passed as the Jaeger stared listlessly at space rolling by through the large front view screens.
We're approaching our destination,
Nori finally said, tapping her console and causing the center screen to display a barren asteroid.
Matching rotation speed. Bringing us closer. We should be in range for the prospector scanner, Lana. Got it, Lana said. Running scan. Here we go. Yep, I'm detecting a lot of nickel and iron deposits.
Fuck off.
Yep, I'm detecting a lot of nickel and iron deposits. Iron deposits. And iron deposits. Some copper and a few other things. That's everything we need to produce trinium. Looks like most of the spots containing all the elements were already dug up. But with Unity's mobility, moving around to get everything we need shouldn't be too much trouble. Sending you all the relevant coordinates, Captain.
Got it. Bringing us down. Nathan, if you please.
Lana said. Got it. Running scan. Here we go.
The young man nodded, and a moment later, a line of text appeared on all the active monitors.
Alter mode engaged.
Unity's form changed, her elongated neck extending away from her main body, and the bridge's walls shifted, forming a more streamlined, V-shaped head. Walls shifted, forming her main body, and the bridge's walls shifted, forming a more streamlined, V-shaped head. 6 legs disengaged from the side of the vessel as her main body transformed, the two at the back the back the largest, as they also carried the ship's thrusters. Unity touched down on the huge rock, the 6 legs buckling slightly, then holding tight. The head extended, a huge circular maw opening at the bottom, and a bright stream of light washed out, searing into the asteroid ground.
We've started mining, Lana said. This is a decently rich ground. Running projection modules. Shouldn't take us more than 8 hours to produce 10 tons of trinium, and there's a good chance to pick up some other stuff along the way.
Didn't we mine 6 tons an hour on the asteroid where we found Cirque? Didn't we mine 6 tons an hour on the asteroid where we found... Didn't we mine 6 tons an hour on the asteroid where we found Cirque? Caddy asked.
We did, but it's more than 12 hours flight away from here. Considering we don't need all that much trinium, getting it closer was more logical. Once we have the needed amount, it'll only be a couple more hours for the new section to be built, and our engineer can start hooking all the new equipment in place.
So we got 10 hours to kill, eh? Caddy looked around the bridge. Anyone up for a few games of poker? Sitcoms marathon? Bulko shook his head. I'm gonna get familiar with the new equipment. Start planning how to best put it together. Cirque, you wanna give me a hand? The green alien nodded. The two left their seats, which folded back into the floor, and headed to the cargo hold. New guys? Sure, I don't have a lot to do right now. Leonard got up. Judy hesitated. I have some samples to analyze. You mean the air samples from Hammerhead? The biotinker shook his head. It's fascinating. How come all the aliens on board have comparable atmospheric composition? I know that one. Caddy brightened. The tech lets everyone breathe as long as there are enough gas components they need in the air. Oh, the omnicist deflated. I guess it doesn't matter then. Come on. Leonard motioned her to follow. Let's get set up. Brainiac? Caddy asked in a hopeful tone once the two disappeared into the second deck. It will be more interesting with a fourth. Lana hesitated, then nodded. She stood, letting her station dissolve around her. Captain? Oh. Captain? Nori shook her head. You two go ahead. I wasn't kidding before when I said I had a lot of work ahead of me. I want to try and reconfigure some protocols and automate some of the navigational processes. Considering the amount of data the astrometric lab is spewing, that will take time. You were right, Lana. The new level helps a ton with that. Looks like it's just you and me, Brainiac, Caddy said brightly. Looks like it's just you and me, Brainiac.
Oh, all right. Let's head up to the galley. I'm not a fan of poker, so I expect to hear all about your new path and how it lets you hide your presence so efficiently. That's not all I'm able to do now. The wily Jaeger said with a smirk. Check out your arm. Lana frowned and looked down at her hand. What? Hey, where did this bracelet come from? Caddy's grin grew wider. You didn't have one for me to steal, so I had to improvise. I can't believe you managed to slip it on my wrist without me noticing. Is that part of your new path? Nah, it's from getting my agility to 10. Got nimble fingers now. Good for shooting and other things. All right, I admit that's pretty cool. Though now it doesn't seem exactly fair for you to play poker. Oh, I can do much more entertaining things with it than cheating at cards. Like what? You'll find out in about, 2 steps. The expert raised an eyebrow, but followed the Jaeger toward the second floor. Then she stopped, her eyes widening and her arms shooting behind her back. How did you... But you're in front of me, and through my armor? Caddy grinned and wriggled her fingers suggestively. Still want to find out what I can do? Lana bolted upstairs. Nori looked back from her seat with a raised eyebrow. What did you do to her? Unhooked her bra.
Nori stared at the impish woman for a solid moment, then turned back to her screens.
Impressive.
Caddy let out an evil chuckle and stepped up after the fleeing expert.
This is going to be fun.
All right, and that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this cold read. Back at it tomorrow. It'll be 12:30. It'll be noon 30 instead of noon tomorrow, because I have a meeting that starts at 11:30 and goes for an hour. But yeah, thank you guys again. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Be sure to check all the links in the description below to find out how to purchase the rest of this series, books 1 and 2, in cinematic audio, full cast sound effects and music, starring Annie Ellicott, Dory Sachs, Justin Thomas, James, Will Watt, and is there anyone else in this one? Oh, and Alejandra LaFleur, right? So anyway, thanks one more time. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our newsletter at soundbooththeater.com to get more updates, and I will see you again tomorrow, hopefully. Later, guys!